Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. You know, when it comes to issues of morality, it pays to consider the source. Cardi B, it seems, has gotten her sculpted nose bent out of joint because apparently she saw a video of some kids in a classroom down in Texas who were actually throwing around their desk chairs, one of which hitting a substitute teacher in the head, causing him to bleed profusely. Now, didn't give the guy a busted head or anything, but it cut the guy's head and you could see the blood running. And this display of raucous, out-of-control behavior in the classroom apparently got the attention of America's favorite mom, Cardi B, who went on Twitter and she decided to give this little pearl of wisdom as her observation. Disgusting. This generation is really lost. I went to school with a lot of gangstas, and no matter what, they never put their hands on a teacher. Kids, this is not respected, not cool, not funny, not tough, not gangsta. It's given y'all, well, you can guess. The first thing that got my attention was the complete and thorough cognitive dissonance. In one sentence, she says that this generation is really lost, and then in the very next sentence, she says, I went to school with a bunch of gangstas and they never put their hands on a teacher. Well, hell, these had to be the most well-behaved gangstas who ever lived. But for the sake of argument, we'll pretend that Cardi B's imaginary private school gangstas knew better than to throw furniture at a teacher. So the hell what? You can't sit there and say that she knew gangstas and they didn't put their hands on the teachers and then tell the kids what y'all are doing is not gangsta. No, that's exactly what it is. This is gangsta. And who cares if Cardi B is angry about it? Who the hell is she for these kids to listen to? What is this response supposed to do? Are they supposed to see a former stripper turned professional thought and call them names and decide that, well, this heifer they saw running around literally naked on a TV or on their iPhone talking about her private parts, well, she's supposed to criticize them and they're supposed to reconsider their life choices? In what alternate reality is that supposed to happen? If this younger generation is lost, then what is she doing to find them? A better question would be, did she and the perverted subculture she represents play a part in these kids losing their way? Are they lost because they found some of Cardi B's greatest hits? Or something like it? From what I understand, she has 2 children. One of them born in just the last 6 months. So it's very interesting how all of these people in pop culture who make the music and the other acts of nonsense that glorifies destructive behavior in our community, they become real concerned about how young people act, but not until after they have children of their own. Then they start talking like June Cleaver. So she's gone from WAP to the PTA. Now, to be fair, we can't lay all the blame at the feet of Cardi B. After all of those juveniles have parents, and if their father isn't present, at the very least, we know the mothers are present. And what kind of mothers are they, Cardi B? Are these the Claire Huxtable type of mothers? Mothers who grew up in structured and orderly households? Do you think the mothers of these students spent their time surrounded by books? Or were they more likely a bunch of free-range hood rats who were more interested in showing what kind of tatted-up punk their booties could attract? Say, Cardi B, since you're so upset about this video, it's got you all in a tizzy, what kind of mothers do you think produce children like this? What kind of music do you think these mothers listen to? What kind do you think these boys listen to? Do you think they listen to classical jazz? Or is it more likely they probably listen to wet WAP? Do we even have to ask? Every time I see Cardi B's name, it always seems to be associated with something perverted, useless, detrimental to black people. I don't listen to her music for the same reason I don't read any of David Duke's brain farts. It makes me feel dirty. Everything she does is coated in a thick layer of fecal matter, slime, and vomit. Everything this professional thought touches is detrimental to us. She's a magnet for anti-black nonsense, don't believe me? Remember a few years ago when Kamala Harris's amazing, failing, imploding presidential campaign released this most pitiful youth outreach video ever? As if we were supposed to believe that Kamala Harris listens to Cardi B in her spare time. When I saw this crap, I swear I cringed so hard I almost broke my own back. This is the class and caliber of individual who Cardi B's work attracts. These people don't just stumble upon Cardi B. That screeching garbage she calls music attracts this kind of person. And now here she is trying to act like she's the voice of reason? She's Miss Responsibility? Are you kidding me? I think Cardi B felt compelled to say something because she looks at these kids and she suspects that maybe the kind of guttural subculture that she promotes and contributes to might have played a part in behavior like this. One thing's for sure, Cardi B can never be accused of advocating for the importance of education, being quiet, or listening. Everything she's ever done has all been about being loud and raucous, having no self-control, not caring about others and only thinking about oneself. Or have you forgotten that this is the exact same woman who posted a video saying that she used to drug men back in the day and then steal their money? And then when she was confronted on it and called out for it and people said, gee, isn't that rape? Then all of a sudden she did a 180 and began claiming that she never drugged anyone. Why? All those men that she robbed, they got drunk or high or passed out on their own. She just took their money after they passed out. As far as the whole drugging thing goes, she's not really sure where that came from. She's not really sure why she said it. So she's not a drugging thief. She's just a plain thief. That's a distinction without a difference. Now, this incident down in Texas that Cardi B is so concerned about, apparently the police are planning to increase their presence on campus naturally. Cardi B didn't have anything to say about that, but does anyone think that she would argue against it? Now, compare the response of the dip-chawing fools over there in East Texas to another school that had large acts of student violence on multiple occasions. Southwood High School in Shreveport, Louisiana had multiple school brawls, one involving a large group of teenage boys in which 14 of them were arrested, and then the very next day 2 groups of teenage girls got into a mass brawl and 8 of them were arrested. That in a 48-hour period. Now, did the people in Shreveport say, well, let's let these good old boys, these unreconstructed Confederates down in the bayou, increase their presence around our children? Is that what they did? No. What happened was that the fathers got involved. A group of about 40 fathers formed a group calling themselves Dads on Duty, and they began to take turns walking the halls of that school. And what a surprise! The school went from chaos to calm overnight. The fathers got to know the kids, and the kids got to know them. And you know those white supremacists down there were grinding their rotten, crooked snaggle teeth. Oh, they wanted more good old boys ready to throw black kids around and manhandle them. We need some more black kids in handcuffs. That's the answer. We definitely don't want these black men being seen as authority figures, being seen as respected, especially by the youth. We definitely don't want that. But is that why Cardi B feels so compelled to speak up now? She looks at these out-of-control boys and she sees herself, or at least she sees her influence. Now, I'm as aware as anyone of the whole fallacy that often comes up whenever someone makes the life imitates art argument. I'm certainly not unaware of that one. And I'm not saying that the kids are nothing but a bunch of zombies who will simply imitate whatever it is that they see. But what I am saying is that if you got the woman who has literally been the poster child for running around wearing butt floss, doing everything that she can to basically do an entire discography and make a career out of throwing away the concept of responsibility or caution or restraint, if this woman is the poster child for uninhibited hedonism, then you'll have to forgive me if I roll my eyes when she tries to play Susie Homemaker. How many of you would think to yourself that if Cardi B called herself being a mentor to your child, that your kid was in great hands? This kind of behavior is a problem, no doubt, but here's my question. What in Cardi B's music, what in her life or anything else about her makes anyone think that she is the answer to this? Because while she's trying to, I guess in her own way, rewrite history to tell us all that gangsta means something that we know it doesn't mean, these kids are not fooled. From where I stand, these kids are operating from the Cardi B class curriculum, reading, writing, and rioting. See, people like Cardi B think the kids are stupid. Children are inexperienced and impulsive, but not necessarily stupid, certainly not most of them. They're actually very perceptive, even clever. And a lot of them are smart enough not to listen to someone without first asking themselves, is this someone who they ought to be listening to? That's why Cardi B isn't calling herself running up to these kids, wagging her finger at them about their behavior. Because she already knows that the first thing they would do is to consider the source. And if that would-be moral authority is some ex-stripper and part-time sneak thief who makes songs glorifying degenerate behavior, well, the kids will conclude that there's nothing she can teach them. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors. Sandra Bates, Donnell Evans, Reasonable Dude, Alexandria Victor, and CJ. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.